In respect of count 1, you are sentenced to a period of 5 years imprisonment. In respect of count 2, you are sentenced to a period of 2 years imprisonment. In respect of count 3, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 4, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 5, you are sentenced to pay a fine of 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In terms of section 280, subsection 2 of Act 51 of 1977, the court orders that the sentence imposed in respect of counts 2, 3, 4 and 5 run concurrent with the sentence imposed in respect of count 1.
Magistrate Olivier is a racist of note, and she must know that in her sleep, that she's a racist and she's possibly a member of AfriForum. That's why when you mention AfriForum, she can't hide her emotions. Yesterday, when SC Mugai Toby mentioned AfriForum, she jumped. But it was not Mugai Toby who was mentioning AfriForum. It was the state which wrote in its heads of argument about AfriForum. When he was responding what the state wrote, she said, don't bring AfriForum. And Mugai Toby said, I'm not bringing AfriForum. The state wrote AfriForum in their documents, and I'm responding to what they said.
It is AfriForum that has been behind the prosecution of Mr. Malema.
No, I forget. That is not a reason for mitigation. We are dealing with mitigation, and I am indulging the defense.
It's 18B of their heads of argument. Look at 18B.
On which ones? Supplementary or the first? 18B.
So there they say Mr. Malema complained of a political vendetta by AfriForum. That's the point I'm addressing.
She said, let me read. By the way, she got those heads of arguments 2 months ago. She was not aware that by saying she wants to read inside court, she was confirming that she did not read the heads of arguments.
She doesn't want me to refer to AfriForum, that's fine.
No. Sorry, Advocate Nkubatobi. I'm just quickly reading what you are referring me to. Before saying that I don't want you to say it, let me just read the paragraph.
Thank you, Madam.
She just entered court without knowing what is contained in the head, in the argument that the lawyers were putting before the court. So we are tried by a magistrate who doesn't read, who reads when you appear in front of her. Otherwise, when you are not there, she doesn't read the heads of arguments. If you read heads of arguments and someone says AfriForum, you'll automatically know that I saw AfriForum somewhere in these documents. And you can't ask the question, where is that AfriForum? What are you talking about? We're trialed by a magistrate who doesn't read, who uses emotions, who speaks politics, who says we are stopping people who are coming to collect maintenance. We are stopping grannies who want to come to court. But in reality, this court was never closed. The public continued to use this court. So she doesn't have any reason, none whatsoever. She goes around fundraising reasons why we must go to prison. They took a firearm which they say I used. She was not aware. When it was mentioned in court, that the firearm has been handed over back to the owner. She appeared shocked, but the witness who was testifying for me wrote about the firearm being taken away. She was not aware. You know why? She doesn't read. She doesn't know what is contained in the documents that are before her. So we are dealing with someone who doesn't apply the law. The law, whether you hate someone or not, you have to answer the question, what does the law say on this matter? She will not answer that question because she can't read heads of arguments. 21 pages. And those 21 pages are quoting the judgments which were written before about matters that are similar to this one. How can she read all of those judgments if she can't read 21 pages? So it's clear that even the law that we are referring to, she can't refer to it because her and reading are not friends. They are not the same WhatsApp group. She's the most incompetent magistrate who read a judgment for 3 days. It is never done. She does so because we suspect she doesn't write her own judgments. They ask a simple thing, leave to appeal. It's a simple matter. The state stand up and they do not say anything. You still ask for 30 minutes to grant a leave to appeal or not. You are not asking for 30 minutes. You are still going to ask your masters, do I grant the leave to appeal or not? So you are dealing with an invisible hand that is controlling the proceedings in that particular court. So we must make sure that she gets reported to the Magistracy Council Commission, because the prosecutor knew about the judgment before she could read the judgment. A day before, she told accused number 2, you must go and fetch your gun tomorrow. And the accused number 2 said, you can only fetch a gun if you are not found guilty. How did the prosecutor know that accused number 2 is not going to be found guilty, to an extent that he tells him to go and fetch a firearm? That's the first misconduct the prosecutor committed. The second one, which the Eastern Cape, East London sub-region must go and open a case of perjury. He lies in court yesterday. To lie to court is a criminal offense. He says, we gave the gun to accused number 2 after he was acquitted. When you said not guilty, that's when we gave accused number 2 the gun. But he forgets that when you collect a weapon or item that was used as evidence, when you collect it back, you must sign for it. There must be a date, there must be a time. So if it's 10 o'clock, they will write 10 o'clock, they will write a date. You look at the time of collection and then look at the time of judgment that he collected before the judgment was passed. That is the second misconduct of a prosecutor. But a prosecutor has got no duty to hand over the item which was used in court without a judgment of a judge. He gave himself a power he doesn't have. He took the evidence before the court and handed it over to accused number 2 without a judge saying you can now return this item back to the owner or you must give it to the state to destroy it. So he thought he's got the power he doesn't have. The only thing we need to do is to make sure that this prosecutor, who is arrogant and suffers from a short man syndrome, is taught a lesson. And we can only teach him a lesson by sitting on his neck and making sure that he is prosecuted and is arrested for lying to court and is disciplined at work for exercising the powers he doesn't have. And this magistrate must be reported to the commission. Why? How did the prosecutor know about the judgment? Because you are the only one who knows the judgment. Only you, the magistrate, could have told the prosecutor about the judgment. And to tell the prosecutor about the judgment outside the representatives of the accused, it's wrong. It's not allowed in law. If there is anything you want to communicate to the prosecutor, you must call the defense to come and you communicate in front of a defense. So clearly, you've got a special relationship with a prosecutor as a magistrate, and that is a misconduct on its own. So we must make sure that we pursue her for being ill-disciplined and abusing her power as a magistrate. So we are going to appeal this matter. We are going to make sure we go to Grahamstown and we are going to dismiss a judgment which was poorly read and which was poorly written. She has granted us leave for appeal on sentencing and refused to give us leave to appeal on conviction. We must petition the High Court to appeal the guilt verdict and the sentencing itself. Today, because all they wanted was to have me sleep here for one night, but they didn't know the reason why the Deputy President is not here. He is at Grahamstown. Because when you apply for leave to appeal and they refuse it, you have to apply for bail. She has a right to refuse it. Then you must petition the High Court to apply for bail at the High Court. So we've got the Deputy President in Grahamstown with papers ready, so that when she says you are not getting bail, you are going to sleep here, the Deputy President immediately files the papers at the High Court and make an agent application. We are not small children. We prepare for any eventuality. If she goes this way, we go the other way. If she goes this way, we go the other way. Because we know that we are dealing with an invisible hand, and therefore you have to be prepared at all material times. The judge at Grahamstown was ready and waiting to listen to our case at 3 o'clock, because we had already told the clerk of the court that we are coming. Not only that, we had a chopper waiting at the airport for the legal team to fly immediately to Grahamstown. We are fighting the devil, and we must fight with everything. 2 minutes they must see you here, 2 minutes they must see you on the other side. That is the power of the EFF. We prepare from all the fronts because we are fighting the enemy, and the enemy is white supremacists. we can tell you now, no sober judge will ever agree that a person shoot one bullet and then is sentenced for 5 years. It is because she has not read her own judgment to know that a reasonable, normal, presiding officer will never come to that determination. So, comrades, we are done with her. That's why when she said to me, you can leave now on a free bail, I looked at her and I said, bye-bye. Because I've seen her ugly face for too long. So I'm going, I will no longer appear before that ugly white face. I'm going to the highest court where they don't use emotions. They use the law. What does the law say? And apply the law. So we must not even look back. We are going forward. The campaigns of the EFF must continue business as usual. I told you when she found me guilty that I'm going to appeal until the highest court, until the constitutional court. So those who thought they will have me in jail, you must know I'm still around. I'm not going anywhere. I told you yesterday that tomorrow I'm going home with you. And that's what is happening. Wherever the enemy is, it's highly pained by the fact that we are going home. We did not even have to pay for a bail. They just said free bail, go home. So we are going home to work for the EFF.